Just like the Bee Gees, the Hurricanes are staying alive.
You're Locked On Hurricanes, your daily podcast on the Carolina Hurricanes, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Welcome to a Victory Tuesday edition of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day, part of the Locked On Podcast Network. Thank you to the Everydayer for making this your first listen today. 5 days a week, Monday through Friday, talking about everything your Carolina Hurricanes. I'm your host, Zach Martin. I am the Carolina Hurricanes beat writer over at the Hockey Writers. I'm also a writer over at the Calder Times talking about everything AHL. I am also the co-host of the Surgecast, which is a weekly Carolina Hurricanes podcast. And of course, with all my duties here at Locked On Hurricanes, got a very, very exciting Tuesday episode for you as we are going to recap and react to Game 5 from Monday night in the Carolina Hurricanes win to extend it to Game 6 back in Raleigh on Thursday. Also going to talk about Canes player of the game and then going to wrap up the show with fan reactions and questions. But before we get into all of that, today's episode is brought to you by FanDuel. Make every moment more. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 with any winning $5 bet. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to get started. As I said, we are going to react to the Game 5 win for the Carolina Hurricanes as they win 4-1 on Monday night in Madison Square Garden to force a Game 6. It is a 4-goal third period by the Hurricanes that sees them extend the series even longer, coming back from 3-0 down. Now it's 3-2. And right now the Hurricanes are carrying a lot of momentum going into Thursday night. And the crazy part was, in terms of how the game was, the Hurricanes outshot the Rangers 28-21. Block shots were pretty much close, with the Hurricanes blocking 19 compared to the Rangers 24. Hits were almost close to even, 25 hits for the Rangers, 19 for the Hurricanes. But Rangers out doubled the Hurricanes in faceoffs, 34-17. But it was the special teams playing a huge role tonight, as the pounded kill unit went 3 for 3, shutting down the Rangers for the third straight game after going 5 for 9 in the first two games. Now you go and rip off 3 straight games from Game 3 through Game 5 without giving a power play goal to the Rangers. Unfortunately, the power play went cold once again, as they did go 0 for 3, and they are now 1 for 20 in the series. But like I said, the main thing is the Hurricanes got 4 goals in the third period after Jacob Trouba scored a shorthanded goal for his first of the playoffs in the second period, and it was all Hurricanes in the third with 4 unanswered goals, starting off with the captain himself. If you're on the YouTube version right now, you can see my Jordan Staal jersey behind me. We're talking Reebok J. Staal when his brother Eric was still with the team. That is how old school that Jordan Staal jersey I have in the background. If you're on the YouTube side of things, it's got the A on the front and all of that good stuff. That is how throwback and how much of a Jordan Staal guy I have been. And it is so great to see the captain coming up clutch for his first goal of the playoffs for the Hurricanes when it mattered most, season on the line. That is some vintage Jordan Staal goals that we saw tonight, or on Monday night. And the fact that, and a lot of people on Twitter were like, okay, that is some vintage Pittsburgh Penguins Jordan Staal type stuff, where he great couple digs, got around the New York Rangers defender, and was able to get the stick a lot farther out past a stretched leg of Igor Shesterkin and tucked it around him to tie the game 3 minutes and 33 seconds into the third period. Great job by Jordan Staal to kick off what would be a huge run for the Hurricanes, which was followed up by Evgeny Kuznetsov scoring in back-to-back games for the Hurricanes. He scored the first goal in Game 4 back in Carolina on Saturday, and he scores the second goal to give the Hurricanes the lead, which would be the game-winning goal on Monday night for his fourth. And Cocken, just very quickly, guys, first point of the playoffs on that secondary assist of the Evgeny Kuznetsov goal. And then not even 3 minutes later, Jordan Martinook for his second of the playoffs, basically really giving them a cushion that they desperately needed. Great job by him to be able to be in the right place to basically get the puck on his stick and rip it right past Shesterkin, was falling down to make it 3-1. And then Martin Necas was probably the most huge clutch, whatever type of thing you want to call it, dagger spin and shoot that you've ever seen, basically in between the face-off circles in the Hurricane zone. Just turned around, flung it, went all the way down and scored. Even he was surprised by how hard and how fast that puck went in the net, and the fact that he did it from whatever that range that he was in. So a fantastic goal by Martin Necas, basically the dagger, with just where it was at in the game. You still had over 3 minutes left, but that was it. You iced it. Hurricanes won 4-1, and now we got a game 6 on Thursday night back in PNC Arena. And you know that place is going to be super loud. I hope the Hurricanes find some good roofers, because that roof is going to be probably either in Wilmington or in Boone at this point. Heck, it could even leave the state. That's how loud this place is going to be. The vibes are going to be very, very high for the Carolina Hurricanes going into Thursday night, because now you have the momentum. After game 3, you're down 3-0 going into Saturday. It was one game at a time. A lot of people didn't know if they were going to win game 4, and if they did, who knows what happened in game 5. But now you've taken it one game at a time, and I've been saying it since game 3. It is one game at a time, one period at a time. Now you got your game. You won game 4. You win game 5. You got one back in Madison Square Garden, and now you're going back into Raleigh for game 6 on Thursday. And right now, you just take that as a backs against the wall. Once again, the same thing that we talked about on Monday's show with what Jordan Martinook said. It is the same story in every game. Only thing you're caring about right now is going into that next game with a set mentality that is a big game. It's a must-win. That's the game you got to focus on, because you got to go 1-0 every game day. And right now they've done it twice. So now you go into Thursday, same aspect. 1-0. You win that game Thursday. Now you've evened the series, and now you really put the pressure on the Rangers. And Evgeny Kuznetsov even said it on Sunday as well, that it's going to be a dogfight, and that it is going to be HE double hockey sticks for the Rangers, because now you're coming back to Carolina, because you didn't want to come back to Carolina for game 6, because the Caniacs are going to be loud and the Hurricanes are going to be thriving off that energy. So right now it's plus 1% better every day, and now you go 1-0 on Thursday. But what an absolute game for the Hurricanes. You come out, very tight game. You give that shorthanded goal, for the second time in the series. You're down 1-0. Now it's okay. How is this team going to respond? Because you really have to come up clutch to make it work, to get back into this game. And luckily for the Hurricanes, like I said, Jordan Staal scores at 3:33. Kuznetsov scores, and then now you got the game-winning goal for him. And then you score 2 more with Martinook and Necas to really put it out of reach, and now you forced it. That is the type of game you love to see. Yes, the power play didn't, produce when they had the chance to do it, but the fact that the PK did its job, shut down the Rangers, even the fact they got a shorthand goal, and that was their only marker, because we saw this. And I've been saying it, and a lot of people have been saying it too. Shane Willis, Mike Maniscalco, all the other beat writers, Corey Lavalette, Chip Alexander, anyone you can think of that's been following this team in through this series. The Hurricanes are a better 5-on-5 team. It is just analytically proven that this team is right now good 5-on-5. A lot of the things that the Rangers have done have been on special teams. Right now, you saw this in game 5. It was all Carolina on the 5-on-5. Every single goal was a 5-on-5. Outside of the empty net goal, which was a 6-on-5 for the Rangers, but the fact that the Hurricanes did their job when it needed most, and that is their 5-on-5 play. And right now, you're feeling good for the Carolina Hurricanes. You savor this moment. You got practice Tuesday and Wednesday back in Raleigh to get ready for Thursday night's game, and you got to go into that game same mentality like they've been saying since game 4 and game 5. That's the important game. That's the game to focus on. They don't need to focus on what's next. Right now, you savor the moment tonight, practice over the next couple days back home in Raleigh, and then you get ready for Thursday's game in Game 6, because that is going to be a massive, massive game to keep your season alive. One more day, one more game. And now you got to hope if you go into that, you are forcing a Game 7 and you're really putting it to the Rangers, because now it's going to be a very huge game going into that. But right now, main focus is Thursday night. Just it is just insane how I said this last Thursday after Game 3 going home. I covered the game for the Hockey Writers, drove 3.5 hours home, and before I left, I said that the series isn't over. Technically, the Hurricanes are still in an uphill battle. Like I said, they got to go win Game 6 on Thursday night. But right now, I said, series isn't over. You go one game at a time, one period at a time, plus 1% better every day. And right now, they have done that. And now we are seeing Game 6 back in Raleigh. A lot of people didn't think, even going into Game 4, that we were even going to see the Hurricanes win Game 4. And then a lot of people were thinking, okay, well, they won one, but can they do it at Madison Square Garden? And they did it. Now you're going back with momentum to the loudest house in the NHL, and the vibes are going to be high. The momentum's in the Carolina's favor right now, and that they're going to come out swinging. They're going to come out, and they're going to come play their game for 60 minutes on Thursday. That is going to be very, very huge for how that's going to be. And going and looking back on Game 5, there was a lot of guys who contributed for the Hurricanes. It's going to be very tough to see who the Canes player of the game is, because there's some guys who had a sneaky good night in terms of points, guys who made clutch moments and stuff like that. And we'll talk about, the Canes player of the game, in my opinion, once we come back here in a second on a Victory Tuesday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. It's winner take all time in the NBA and NHL, and FanDuel's giving you a shot to bring home a big win of your own. Right now, new customers get $150 in bonus bets with any winning $5 bet. That's $150 to bet on spreads, money lines, player props, and more. Visit FanDuel.com/lockedon to make every playoff shot count. FanDuel, America's #1 sportsbook. Welcome back to a segment 2 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. So real quick, before we go into the Canes player of the game, there was a couple things I definitely wanted to bring up that we didn't really get to in the first part of the show. So from Ryan Henkel on Twitter, he posted this, and I thought this was really great to see. The Carolina Hurricanes playoff scoring leaders, Seth Jarvis, Jake Guentzel, Steph Nason, and Evgeny Kuznetsov all are tied with 4 goals for the Hurricanes in the playoffs. And he ended it with, as we all expected. I mean, there you go. Who would have thought that you would have Steph Nason and Evgeny Kuznetsov being in top of that, with the fact that you got with Seth Jarvis and Jake Guentzel? You know what? Hurricanes, we say this almost every year, the depth scoring for Carolina is very unsung, and there's your depth scoring. You got 2 fourth-line guys in Steph Nason and Evgeny Kuznetsov who play on the power play. Granted, it's not a lot of power play goals, in the playoffs, but for those 2 guys who get the icing that they do, they have managed to make it count when they needed to, and they both have 4 goals to tie with the 2 guys who we all kind of expected to kind of lead the way for the Carolina Hurricanes. And speaking of Evgeny Kuznetsov, Big Head Hockey put this in a great way. Every Capitals forward combined in the postseason for the 2024 NHL playoffs, they all combined for 4 goals for the forward crew. Every forward on the Capitals in their first round against the Rangers, 4 goals combined. Evgeny Kuznetsov in the playoffs for the Hurricanes, 4. And it all was for Carolina to give up a 3rd-round pick to get Evgeny Kuznetsov. And that is the reason why you get guys like him at the trade deadline, along with Jake Guentzel, guys who can get done in the playoffs because they've been there, they know what it means, and they know what's at stake. And getting Evgeny Kuznetsov right now is paid dividends for the Hurricanes. And you look at it this way, too. He is locked in for all next season for the Hurricanes. You're going to get a full season of Evgeny Kuznetsov with the Carolina Hurricanes. And finally, from Kane Stat Brand, Carolina Hurricanes came from behind victories in the 3rd period at Madison Square Garden. The first time they did it was a 5-3 win back on March 18th, 1987, a 5-4 win back on April 5th, 1993, and then the most two recent ones, March 21st, 2023, and a 3-2 win, and then Monday night, May 13th, 2024, and a 4-1 victory. Now, going into the Hurricanes player of the game, in my opinion, and if you have a certain Canes player that you think is the player of the game from Game 5, drop it in the comments below. If you're on the YouTube side of things, let me know who you think your Canes player of the game is. I might do something on Twitter as well on Tuesday to see what everyone's Canes player of the game was. But for me, Jordan Staal had a great goal. It was very clutch. Get them, it was the tying goal. You got one from Evgeny Kuznetsov, which gets you the game winner. And then you also talked about Jordan Martinook got you that third goal. And, Martin Necas, he did get 2 points in the game. He got a goal and assist, and his goal was a dagger with the empty netter to make it 4-1. But my Hurricanes player of the game is actually Jack Drury. He had a very sneaky 2 points on Monday night. Both of them were assists. He got an assist on the Jordan Martinook goal, and he also got an assist on the Martin Necas goal. And the fact that both of his assists, his Jordan Martinook one was a primary assist, and his Martin Necas assist was a secondary one. But for me, if you're talking any guy who deserves to get Canes player of the game, it is Jack Drury, in my opinion. Very, very quiet, very sneaky, got the 2 assists. It was ones where, yes, the one for Martin was great. He was able to set him up with that little fire drill that was going on. And then also just being able to make the play on the defensive side to get to Chatfield, who got it to Necas, who was able to fling it down the net and score. Hey, they don't ask you how, they just ask how many. And he got 2. Those are the 2 points. And for me, that's my Canes player of the game because he had a very sneaky 2 points, and it was on 2 goals to give them the extra cushion for the 3-1 and the dagger for 4-1 to end the series. But honestly, like I said, you can't go wrong with Martin Necas because, like I said, he did score. Jordan Staal had a very, very huge goal. He's the one that tied it up early for the in the third period. Jordan Martinook got his to make it 3, and Evgeny Kuznetsov back-to-back games with a goal. Got the first one in Game 4, and he gets the game-winning goal in Game 5. If I'm picking a close second or even a close third, I would say right now, like, 1 is Jack Drury, and then maybe like a 2A, 2B is Staal and Kuznetsov, just because of the fact that it's the tying goal and the game winner. But if you guys have a different pick for Canes player of the game, like I said, let me know in the comments on the YouTube side of things. Let me know what you think, who that honor should go to. But overall, great job by those guys. Jesperi Kotkaniemi, like I said, got an assist, got his first point of the playoffs. Brady Shea got an assist as well. Dmitry Orlov and Jalen Chatfield both got assists in the game as well. And in terms of Frederik Andersen, how about an absolute great game from the Great Dane? Bounce back from while they did win Game 4, he did have a couple goals they wish he had back, and posted an under 900, and right now coming into Monday night's game, he did have a sub 900 save percentage. He was in the upper 890s, but on Monday night, 1 goal allowed, and he had a save percentage of .952. He stopped 20 of 21 shots in that game against the New York Rangers. Like I said, you got a .952 save percentage. You will gladly take that from Frederik Andersen. He came up clutch when they needed to and was able to shut the door on the Rangers outside of that shorthanded marker from Jacob Trouba. You can't ask for more out of Frederik Andersen for the fact that he did save 20 of 21 with a .952 save percentage. So another candidate for probably Canes player of the game, but overall, what an absolute fight from the Hurricanes. You love to see just how the fact that they were able to do what they needed to do, shut it down, make it count when it mattered most. And now you look at how this team is right now. And the fact that your first star was Jordan Staal, Evgeny Kuznetsov was your second star, and then Martin Necas was the third star as well. And before we wrap up this segment, before we go to fan interactions and questions, Walt Ruff talking about what Brind'amour said to his group during the second intermission. Rod said, "I just felt like it was business as usual. We understood the situation. It wasn't like we were dead and Walt Ruff ended. Not dead indeed. So you love to see it. You love the fight that the Hurricanes have had. There is no quit in these Hurricanes. So you love to see it. Like so for me, my Canes player of the game is Jack Drury, but in the comments, let me know what you think. So we're going to go over some fan reactions and questions from Game 5, and we'll get to hit that here in a second on a Victory Tuesday edition of Locked On Hurricanes. Policy Genius is the country's leading online insurance marketplace. It saves you time and money so you can provide your family with a financial safety net starting today. With Policy Genius, you can find life insurance policies that start at just $292 per year for $1 million worth of coverage. Some options offer same-day approval and avoid unnecessary medical exams. For me, the thing I love about the fact of having insurance is the fact that I feel safe whenever something does happen. I know that life insurance is there to take care of me or my family. And with Policy Genius, it helps you compare your options from top companies, and their teams of licensed experts is on hand to help talk you through it. Talk to a team of award-winning agents who will walk you through the process step by step, and they can easily compare quotes from America's top insurers in just a few clicks to find your lowest price. Plus, with Policy Genius, it gives you unbiased advice from their licensed expert support team, and in that, they have no incentive to recommend one insurer over the other, so you can trust their guidance. And also, there's been thousands of 5-star reviews on Google and Trustpilot from customers who found the best fit for their needs with Policy Genius. Check life insurance off your to-do list in no time with Policy Genius. Head to policygenius.com/LockedOnAHL or click the link in the description to get your free life insurance quotes and see how much you could save. That's policygenius.com/LockedOnNHL. Welcome back to segment 3 of Locked On Hurricanes, your team every day. We are in the final segment. We are going to wrap up this Victory Tuesday episode of the show by going over some fan reactions and questions. So from what I've seen, it's not a lot of questions. It's just a lot of reactions. So I would love to just rip off all these reactions from all the fans because everyone is beyond excited, shocked. They cannot believe that what we're seeing right now is the fact we are going to Game 6 on Thursday night back at PNC in Raleigh. So the first one is from Jason Hernandez, who's the host of Locked On Ducks. Really awesome to see from him, being able to, add on to everything that is here from Locked On Anaheim Ducks. So big shout out to Jason Hernandez. And he said, Carolina is really trying to become the latest answer to a trivia question. Yes, sir, they are. They are very much doing that because there's only been 4 teams to ever come back from 3-0. Now, it's not officially done yet, so let's kind of pump the brakes a little bit. But they are trying to be able to add their name to that list to become that 5th team. But before you even get anywhere near that, you got to go into Thursday night, take care of business on that game so you can force a Game 7. Game 7 is not even in their thoughts right now. All it is about going into Thursday night, winning that game back home, and that's all that matters is to go 1-0 on that day for the 3rd time this series. But Jason, yes, very much so. They are trying their best, and we hopefully be able to see that. So this is from Packy. This is from @JRodTheBod. Good things happen when you go to the middle of the ice. Look at the locations of every goal scored this series. Yes, very much so. I said it, after Game 4, and I've been saying it for most of the series. It is about net front presence, and you got to do it against the Rangers. They will let you play perimeter all you want because all you're doing is flinging the pucks on, and that's why you see a lot of block shots from them, and that's why you see Igor Shesterkin being able to save a lot of those pucks because if you don't have anyone in front of the net, taking away his eyes, screening him, distracting him, all that stuff, he will see the puck and he'll stop it. Jordan Staal's goal, crashed the net. That's what he needed to do. Jordan Martinook's goal, he was staying right in front, but was able to do that on a crazy play where Igor Shesterkin's falling down. He was able to roof it on him. And Evgeny Kuznetsov, and that's one thing about Evgeny Kuznetsov goal that was really great. Brady Shea with an absolute blast from the point. He shot it so hard that it bounced off Shesterkin's pad and went right to Kuznetsov with no one on him. He was at the right place and the right time to put it in the empty net, essentially, to give the Hurricanes a 2-1 win and basically making it his game-winning goal of the game. And it was all net front. Steph Nason's goal in Game 4, was also net front, and Brady Shea's goal because Seth Jarvis put himself right in front of Shesterkin to screen him, be able to get that goal. So right now, Packy said it perfectly. Net front presence, crash the net, get rid of the perimeter. The Hurricanes need to go inside on the Rangers. And right now, they are doing that exact same thing, and that's why you see now the fact that the Hurricanes won Game 4 and now won Game 5, and now we get to go back into Game 6 on Thursday night. This one is from Blue, from Let's Go Checkers. I tell you that win just changed the entire trajectory of the series. Rangers up 3-0, drop one, then at home, chance to end it, 1-0 lead, and then drop it 1-4, losing 4-1. They know what's on the line for Game 6. All the pressure is on them. Most important win yet. Very much so for the Hurricanes. The Rangers know that the momentum's on the Carolina side, and like I said, Evgeny Kuznetsov said it perfectly. They do not want to go into that game because now the momentum's on the Hurricane side, and you know that place is going to be loud. And that is the one thing that if you're the Rangers, you need to be worried because now it's like you got all the pressure on you because now you are up, and now the fact that the Hurricanes are coming back into the series. We got a series now. It's 3-2. If the Kings win Game 6 on Thursday night, then it's going to be a whole lot of pressure on the Rangers going into Game 7. But the thing is, the Hurricane, like I've been saying all episode, I'm going to keep reiterating it. Win Thursday night, that's all you need to focus on, one period at a time, one game at a time, go 1-0 on that night. But right now, yes, the pressure is on the New York Rangers going into that game. This is from Katie Bartlett, Avs Canes fan, big contributor to the show. Thank you, Katie, for all your support. Great showing from the veteran leadership on this team tonight. Talking about Monday, Jordan Staal, Evgeny Kuznetsov, Jordan Martinook, and Freddie Anderson locked it in for the Hurricanes. Great to see, especially since the gas line was held off the score sheet, talking about Gensel, Aho, and Svechnikov. And yes, they were held off the score sheet, but I totally agree. The leadership group and even the new guy was able to step up for this team. Jordan Staal gets that really vintage Jordan Staal type goal that gives you, you tie the game 1-1. Evgeny Kuznetsov, right place, right time, bringing his playoff experience that he had with the Capitals. He comes in, does his job, scores his 4th goal of the playoffs, gets you that game-winning goal. And now you get the bird celly for back-to-back games, and now he backed up what he said. He said it before Game 5. It's going to be a dog fight. It's going to be a bowl of food, and 2 dogs are going to fight for it. The Hurricanes were the hungrier dog. They took care of business, and he backed up what he said. Jordan Martinook, huge goal for his second in the playoffs. You were waiting for him to do it because he had a great second round last year against the Devils. He gets one that gives you that cushion to make it 3-1. And like I said, Frederik Andersen, you love to see it from what he did. Came in, did his business, got 20 of 21 saves, .952 save percentage. That's all you need to ask for out of him. This is from Caroline. From Stormbringer 919, just one word, believe. Yes, tap the sign, believe. Ted Lasso would be very, very proud of the Carolina Hurricanes team for theirs. Don't quit, and they believe. This is from Caniac Implant from Czech Caniac. Caniac's out to make history, baby. Yes, they are trying to make history. Like I said, go into Game 6, do your business, make it a Game 7. Nixon out says the leaders led the charge and they played maybe their best period of hockey all playoffs. Yes, I agree. Jordan Staal, got his first goal of the playoffs. Evgeny Kuznetsov scored when it needed most. Jordan Martinook scored his goal when it mattered most too. The leadership group did what they needed to do, and now we got a Game 6 on Thursday night back at PNC Arena. So that will wrap up this Victory Tuesday episode of Locked On Hurricanes. Thank you to everyone who sent in the reactions. Not a lot of questions, pretty much no questions, all reactions, and I love to see it. The vibes are high right now. Thursday night is going to be electric at PNC Arena. If you want to follow me on social media, you can check me out at OneTrueZach on X. You can also check out the podcast at Ella_Hurricanes. If you go to Linktree in my bio, you can find where I write all my articles, newsletters, and premium content for the hockey writers. Also, anything that I do on the AHL side of things over at the Calder Times. You can find where to listen to my podcast audio or watch it on YouTube on the Searchcast side of things if you want to look for more just a weekly hour and a half or so episodes. And then also for Locked On Hurricanes, you can find the links to where to listen to the podcast on the audio side And if you do that, make sure to leave a 5-star rating. And if you leave a review to your 5-star rating, which will help grow the podcast, I might just read it on the show. And also right here on the YouTube side of things, if you are watching this episode on YouTube, make sure to hit subscribe, turn the bell notification, you don't miss a show, and hit the thumbs up button as well, because I will greatly help grow this podcast on the YouTube side of things. And if you share it with other Caniacs, hopefully they become everydayers just like you, because right now we are still on the road to 1,000 subscribers. We are over 850, so we are under 150 away from hitting 1,000 subscribers. And if we do hit 1,000, I might do something really cool for you guys. But I hope everyone has a great, enjoys their Victory Tuesday for the Hurricanes. Hope everyone just enjoys the vibes for the next couple of days before we get into Thursday's game for Game 6. But hope everyone enjoys their Tuesday. And until next time, as always, let's go Canes. We got a Game 6 on Thursday night in Raleighwood. See you next time, guys.